Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Storytime with Kate Meszaros. Today, I'm going to start a wonderful chapter book called Junie B. Jones Has a Monster Under Her Bed. Have you ever been afraid of monsters or creepy things in your closet or under your bed? Halloween season is coming up, so I thought I would share this one with you to see how Junie B. Jones handles things when she's a little scared. Hope you enjoy this one. I've been looking forward to reading a chapter book for you for some time. So let's go ahead and get started. In today's video, excuse me, I am going to be reading the first 3 chapters. So if this video gets a little long for you, just hit pause and come back to it when you're ready. And then I will be reading chapters 4, 5, and 6 in another video, and then chapters 7 and 8 in the last part. So let's get started with Junie B. Jones Has a Monster Under Her Bed. Chapter 1 is called The Cheese Man. My name is Junie B. Jones. The B stands for Beatrice, except I don't like Beatrice. I just like B, and that's all. I am in the grade of afternoon kindergarten. Today we got school pictures taken at that place. School pictures is when you wear your bestest dress and you go to the cafeteria and the cheese man is there. He makes you say, cheese, only I don't actually know why. Then he takes a picture of you, or your mother has to buy them, or else you will get your feelings hurt. School pictures is a racket, I think. I wore my new dress with the dinosaur on the front. A dinosaur, huh? Said the cheese man. I smoothed my skirt very lovely. Yes, I said, it is a Tyrannosaurus Dottie. You mean Tyrannosaurus Rex, he said. No, I mean Tyrannosaurus Dottie, because Rex is the boy and Dottie is the girl, I explained. The cheese man stood behind his camera. Say cheese, he told me. Yeah, only guess what? I don't actually know why I have to say that word, because what's cheese got to do with it, I asked. Cheese makes you smile, said the cheese man. I shook my head. Not me. Cheese doesn't make me smile, I said, because sometimes I eat a cheese sandwich for lunch and I don't even giggle when I swallow that thing. The cheese man did a big breath. Could you please just say it? He asked. Yes, I said, I can please just say it. Only don't forget to tell me when you're ready, because one time my grandpa Frank Miller was taking my picture and he didn't tell me he was ready. And then one of my eyes turned out opened and the other one turned out closed. I made the face to show him. See my eyes? See how one of them is open and the other is. All of a sudden, the cheese man took my picture and my mouth came wide open at him. Hey, how come you did that? How come you took my picture? Because I wasn't even ready yet. The cheese man kept on clicking his camera. Pretty soon, he looked at the next person in line. Next, he said. I stamped my foot. Yeah, only I wasn't ready, I tell you, and so I need another turn, I said. Just then my teacher came over, and she pulled me away from there. She sat me next to her on a bench. Her name is Mrs. She has another name too, but I just like Mrs. and that's all. Mrs. said, settle down to me. Then me and her watched the rest of the children get their pictures taken. My bestest friend named Lucille went next. She had a blue satin ribbon in her hair. My Nana says this ribbon brings out the blue in my eyes, she told the cheese man. She opened them real wide. See them? See their color? They are robin's egg blue with just a hint of lavender. The cheese man sucked in his cheeks. He was getting frustration in him, I think. Could you please just say cheese? He grouched. Lucille smiled real big with all her teeth. Cheese, she sang very loud. Cheese, cheese, cheesy, cheese, cheese. Then she kept on singing cheese till the cheese man said, knock it off. After she was done, Lucille skipped over to me and Mrs. Did you see me? She asked. Did you see how good I said cheese? That's because I'm going to be a model when I grow up, so I already know how. She fluffed her fluffy hair. The camera is my friend, she said. Mrs. rolled her eyes way up to the ceiling. I looked up there too, but I didn't see anything. There's Lucille fluffing her hair and Mrs. kind of rolling her eyes. Do you know what that means when someone rolls their eyes? When a grown-up rolls their eyes, they're like, oh my goodness. That's what their eyes are saying. Oh dearie, oh dearie, my goodness. Maybe Mrs. is thinking, what have I gotten into with these children? After that, it was time for the class picture. The class picture is when all of room 9 lines up in 2 rows. The biggie kids stand in the back and the shorty kids stand in the front. I'm a shorty kid, only that is nothing to be ashamed of. I stood next to Polly Allen Puffer, and he looked very admiring at my dinosaur dress. Dinosaurs bite people's heads off, he said. I did a frown. Yeah, only they don't even scare me because there's no such things as dinosaurs anymore, I told him. So there's still such things as monsters that can bite your head off, said Polly Allen Puffer. A monster lives right under your bed, I bet. My big brother says that everybody has a monster under their bed. He poked his finger at me. Even you, Junie B. Jones, he said. I got shivers on my arms. No, I do not either, Polly Allen Puffer, I said. Oh, yes, you do too, he said back. My brother is in 7th grade, and he says the monster waits till you're asleep, and then he crawls up next to you, and he lies down on your pillow, and he practices fitting your head in his mouth. I covered up my ears, but Polly Allen Puffer talked louder. I can even prove it, he said. Didn't you ever wake up with a drool spot on your pillow? I thought very hard. Yeah, so? So where do you think it came from, he asked. It came from the monster under your bed, that's where. It was monster drool, Junie B. Jones. I shook my head very fast. Oh, no, it was not, Polly Allen Puffer. You stop saying that, and I mean it. He raised up his eyebrows. Well, where did it come from then? You don't drool on your pillow, do you? You're not a baby, are you? He said. No, don't call me that. I am not a baby, I yelled. Polly Allen Puffer crossed his arms. So where did the drool come from? He asked again. I don't know, I said, but my daddy told me there's no such thing as monsters. So what daddies have to say that, said Polly Allen Puffer. That's so you'll go to sleep at night and not bother them. He squinted his eyes at me. Why do you think mommies and daddies sleep in the same room anyway? So they can protect each other from the monster, or else their heads might get chewed off. Just then I wrinkled up my nose at that terrible thought, and then I hanged out my tongue and I did a sick face. Ugh. And guess what? The cheese man took the class picture. Do you think that's for real? Do you think it's for real that a monster lives under everybody's bed? I don't believe it. I know where the drool comes from. It's when we get so relaxed, our mouth hangs open a little bit, and just a little bit of our drool comes out. Don't you think? I think so. Anyway, let's go on to chapter 2. Chapter 2 says, just say right. After school pictures, we went back to room 9, and I put my head down on my table. There's no such thing as monsters. There's no such thing as monsters, I whispered to just myself, because my very own daddy told me that, and he wouldn't even lie to me, probably. Mrs. said for me to sit up in my chair, and she passed out work for us to do. It was called printing our letters. I didn't actually feel like doing that. I tapped on my bestest friend named Lucille. Guess what, Lucille? There's no such thing as monsters. There's really, really not. And so a monster doesn't even live under my bed, probably. Right, Lucille? Right? Right? Shh, doing my letters, she said. Yes, Lucille, I know you are doing your letters. Only I just wanted to tell you about the monster, because he's not even real. Right? Lucille didn't say right. How come you're not saying right, Lucille? Just say right, okay? Just say monsters aren't real, and I won't even bother you anymore. All of a sudden, Lucille did a mad breath. Now look what you made me do, Junie B. You made me ruin my big G. I told you not to bother me. She quick grabbed her paper and runned to Mrs. to fix it. I tapped my fingers on my table. And then I turned around and looked behind me, and I smiled at a boy named Crybaby William. Guess what, William? There's no such thing as monsters. And so a monster doesn't live under my bed, probably. Right, William? Right? Right? William moved his seat away from me. I followed him with my chair. I'm right, don't you think, William? A monster really doesn't live under my bed, does he? Plus, also, he doesn't put my head in his mouth. William slided his chair away some more. I scooted after him. Just say right, okay, William? Just say there's not a monster under my bed, and I will be on my way. William picked up his chair and he carried it all the way to the middle floor. I would too if I was William. If I was afraid of monsters and things like that, I would want to get away from talking about it as quickly as possible. So, yeah, good for you, William. That's how come I had to carry my chair to the middle of the floor, too. I sat down and smiled very sweet. Right, William? I'm right, aren't I said. Only too bad for me, because just then I felt hands on my shoulders. I looked up. It was Mrs. I did a gulp. Hello, how are you today? I said, kind of nervous. Mrs. zoomed my chair back to my table. It was not fun. I quick picked up my pencil. Guess what? I'm going to do my work now, I said. Plus, also, I'm not even going to talk because I don't actually like anyone in this area. Mrs. tapped her foot at me. Love your shoes, I said real soft. Her foot kept on tapping. Only just then a very great thing happened, and it is called the bell rang for the end of school. I hurried up out the door, and then me and my other bestest friend named Grace runned to the bus together. Grace, Grace, guess what? There's no such thing as monsters, and so I don't even have one under my bed, probably. Right, Grace? Right? That Grace didn't say right. That's how come I grabbed her by the shoulders and I jiggled and jiggled her, because I was fed up with these people, that's why. How come you won't say right, Grace? How come nobody will say right? Because I'm getting at the end of my rope with this thing. That Grace took her hands off of me. I can't say right because a monster really might live under your bed, Junie B, she said. My eyes got big and wide at her. No, Grace, no, do not say that. Do not say a monster might live under my bed, because that cannot even be true, or else I would have spotted that guy by now. No, you wouldn't, she said. My big sister said that monsters can turn themselves invisible when you look at them, and so that's how come nobody ever sees them. That Grace looked serious at me. That makes sense, don't you think? Huh, Junie B? Huh? Just then my throat got dry. My stomach got the shakies, and I looked out the window very upset. And I didn't say right. Chapter 3 is called The Invisiblest Guy. I think that's a word, invisiblest. You would say most invisible. I ran in my house and hollered for my Grandma Helen Miller. Grandma Miller, Grandma Helen Miller, I am so glad to be home because today was not a very good day at my school. Grandma Miller was in the kitchen. She was holding my baby brother named Ollie. I jumped up and down in front of her. Pick me up, pick me up, pick me up. I can't right now, Toots, she said. I've got my hands full with Ollie. Yeah, only put him on the floor, I said, because I need a hug down here, Helen. Grandma Miller leaned down and hugged me. And then she said, don't call her Helen. Why don't you go change your clothes, she said. Then you and I will make some popcorn and you can tell me all about your day. How does that sound? Just then my whole face got happy, because popcorn is my favorite thing in the whole wide world. Hooray, I shouted, hooray for popcorn. I ran right to my room, and then I took off my socks and shoes, and my feet did a little happy feet dance on the floor. It was called the Happy Feet Popcorn Dance. They danced around and around. Also, they jumped up on my bed, and they sprang to the floor, and they did a giant twirly on my rug. I clapped my hands, real joyful. There she is doing her happy popcorn dance. It's cute. I'm glad she's not so worried about that monster right now. She has something else to think about. Grandma, hey, Grandma, guess what? I'm having a good time in here, and so I'm not even thinking about the monster under my bed. Just then, I did a gulp, because I shouldn't have said that, I think. I looked at my bed kind of nervous. What if the monster was under there right this very minute? And what if he was looking at my piggy toes? And what if he wanted to eat them? Oh no, I said, oh no, no, because piggy toes look just like little wiener sausages, I think. I freezed right where I was standing. Grandma Miller, come quick, I need you, I shouted. Grandma Miller flied to my room, and she picked me up, and she hugged me real tight. "What on earth is the trouble?" she asked. She sat with me on my bed. "No, Grandma, no, no, we can't sit here." I squeezed out of her arms and ran out the door. "'Cause there's a monster under my bed," I yelled. I jumped up and down. "Run, Helen! Run like the wind!" Only Grandma Helen Miller didn't run. She just flopped back on my covers and she closed her eyes. "No, Junie B, please, we're not going through this monster business again, are we? We've talked about monsters before, remember? We decided there are no such things as monsters." "Yes, but I have new information," I said, "because the monster under my bed turns himself invisible whenever we look at him. Plus, at night, right after my eyes are closed, he climbs in next to me and he puts my head in his mouth." Grandma Miller did a big breath, and then she went to the kitchen. She brought back my daddy's flashlight. She shined it under my bed. "No monster, Junie B. None. I don't see one single monster under this bed," she said. "See, Grandma, that just proves it, Grandma. He turned himself invisible." Grandma Miller shook her head. "No, Junie B, the monster did not turn himself invisible. The monster is simply not there. He does not exist. Period." "Yes, he does, Grandma. He does too exist, because Polly Allen Puffer's big brother even said so. Plus, also, I've seen the drool." Grandma Miller said to calm down my voice. She got me a drink of water. "Why don't we forget about the monster for now, and we'll go make popcorn, and you can talk to your mother about this when she gets home. I'll bet Mother will know exactly what to do." I thought, and I thought. "What, Grandma? What will she do?" I asked. Then all of a sudden, a light bulb went on in my head. "Hey, I know what she'll do. Mother will get the broom and bash the monster's head in, because I saw her do that to a roach before, and she is excellent at it." Grandma Miller closed her eyes again, and she said, "I am a strange one." I think she's a little goofy girl, I think. Junie B is always a little goofy. She's still funny, don't you think? Well, tune in with our next video, and I'll read the next 3 chapters of Junie B. Jones Has a Monster Under Her Bed.